back in 2017 was my first introduction in anime. And, well, it was the first time I watched it on my own volition. I'd hated it prior for seemingly no reason. However, in the past 2.5 years, I've come to read and watch plenty of amazing experiences. I've experienced stories which gripped my heart and tore it apart, others that made me realize things about my real life, and others that truly gave life lessons worth keeping until the day I died. Fullmetal Alchemist, Gurren Lagann, and others like Fairy Tail. From these experiences, I have wasted dozens of dollars on posters, manga, figures, and anything else of the such. However, recently I've discovered the world of Webtoons. Not sponsored, by the way. Completely free, mostly Korean, manga-like comics. And I can't pronounce the word, so I'm not gonna bother because I don't want to, butcher it. But for now, I'll just refer to them as manga. And Tower of God, which started as a webtoon, was one of my biggest pushes to check out the other potential great webtoons. And on top of that, a friend of my fiance and I strongly recommended us to take a crack at some of them. So, without much further ado, I would like to introduce you guys to Dice, the cube that changes everything.
한없이 쏟아져 내리는 저 밤하늘의 별을 난 너와 함께 볼 수 있다면.
Also, I think it's important to remember that this is not a review of Dice, it's an analysis of it, and what makes it so great in my honest opinion. And also, obviously, why you too should read it. The story starts off with the prologue that doesn't have an explanation at first, and was a really big turnoff for me when I first tried to read Dice. Some of it was really hard to follow, and it seemed like it wouldn't really go anywhere, or at least go where it did. However, it starts off by introducing us to a kid whose identity isn't revealed until later, before tossing us into the life of Dongtae, a Korean high school bread shuttle. And in short, a bread shuttle is essentially someone who is used by bullies to buy them items, be it food, or stuff along the lines of cigarettes. Through Dongtae's eyes, we experience the cruelty which he has gone through in his 17 years of life, and his thoughts of working to change it. Would it be worth it? Or why even try bothering? Not long after being introduced to Dongtae, we're introduced to his foil, Tae-ben. Tae-ben appears to be a picture-perfect human. Handsome, smart, popular, and well-rounded in almost every single activity imaginable. And in the span of an episode or two, we see Dongtae's crush fall in love with Tae-ben. Dongtae, thinking he is saving his crush, whose name is
윤주.
Unju. Anyways, back on topic. Dongtae tails Tae-ben and follows him to a rooftop. It appeared Tae-ben was looking for something, and just when it seems Dongtae got a text from a friend, a dice appeared in front of him. The intro to the webtoon honestly reminds me a lot of Tokyo Ghoul. In Tokyo Ghoul, Kaneki is your average person who finds a girl attractive and simply wants to go on a date. Finally, able to go on said date, he wants to have dinner with her, and in reality, he was dinner. After push comes to shove, something happens that pushes Kaneki to become like the girl, who is a ghoul, just like how something pushed Dongtae to become a dicer like Tae-ben, but both having something to do with the girl they liked. After becoming a dicer, and after a movement in the plot, it shows that before you were a dicer, you wouldn't really recognize anyone as being one. However, once a dicer, you start to notice the oddities in people's behaviors. Essentially, that sets up the plot for the first major arc of the first season. However, the story changes quite drastically as time goes on over its 4-season run. And it's not even through yet, but I'm pretty sure it's in its last season. And honestly, it gets even better. I have no intention of going into the story too much in this video, but I did want to give a basic synopsis of what the story, or what set the story in motion. After something happens in the story, more dicers appear and new characters are introduced. Mio, who is undoubtedly best girl of the story, and if you think otherwise, you are wrong, and others such as Hugh Chen and
무옹.
Mu Young, as well as numerous others who I won't reveal. However, as the cast gets bigger and the die gets cast, pun fully intended, more problems and drama arise that keep the tensions growing and on the high. However, with the basic synopsis out of the way, it's time to move on to the next part of the video, themes. Dice starts off as a story about the corrupt nature of the human being. Jealousy, greed, lust, and how the average person would succumb to the temptations of their desires, even if it meant trampling over others to receive it. This is seen almost every day in real life, and is portrayed quite perfectly here. People, if given the power, will do what it takes to achieve their desires. Backstab, murder, lie to, or even use another person for their own gain. Sadly, it's in human nature. The story keeps that at its core throughout the entirety of it. However, as time goes on, it shifts from a story about jealousy to a story of survival, betrayal, and deception. A story of friends murdering friends for their own benefit, among other things. It shows how people will do selfish things for selfless acts, and in the name of others they love. And on the opposite spectrum, how people will lie to those closest to them simply to gain a few centimeters towards their wildest dreams. I don't want to dive too deep into the story or characters, as I risk the chance of spoiling major plot points. However, I have gone over what is shown in the promotional stories, as well as other things I learned through reading Dice. It really had me thinking, and is honestly probably my new favorite manga comic thingy. Nonetheless, I strongly advise you go check it out. It's an amazing story, and I really do hope it gets the same anime treatment that Tower of God got. If you do go and read it, and want it to become an anime, make sure to come back here and give this video a like to show your support. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe for more, and sorry this video is so short. I was intending on it being way longer. However, I realized if I went any further, I would spoil a good amount of the story. If you guys want to see another video on Dice, if you do read it, let me know, and I will gladly make it happen. I absolutely adore this story, I adore its characters and everything about it, and genuinely think that it deserves more attention. And that's essentially been it for today's video, so until we meet again, this has been Aizen, signing out.